Romeo Doubs is still dealing with a hamstring injury, Jamie. They're at Chicago. Should be a nice matchup in week 1. Jaden Reed sleeper, or what do we think? Do you think Dobbs is going to play? Do we know anything? Or what do you think?
From what I saw last week, the answer was no. I actually dropped him a couple spots just because I'm scared of hamstring injuries and if they're going to linger. So at this point, I would anticipate him not playing. So yes, Jaden Reed would absolutely be a sleeper in week 1.
Okay. Kadarius Toney and cornerback L'Jarius Sneed are going to play for the Chiefs in week 1. They get Detroit on Thursday. So listen, Kadarius Toney ready for week 1. We talked about Sutton, Michael Thomas, Brandon Cooks, Zay Flowers. Where's Kadarius Toney in that group?
If you're talking about, I don't think you should start Kadarius Toney with any confidence at all. I think he is somebody that you start as a flex week 1.
I'm sorry, Heath. I meant
you just mean draft wise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's right in that mix, and I think it comes down to, are you drafting your 4th receiver with 3 really solid guys ahead? Or do you have a Terry McLaurin or a Jerry Jeudy and you're trying to find somebody to help you early in the season? I don't have a lot of confidence in what Toney's going to be at all, but he has more upside, I think, than Sutton.
You did a few drafts, Adam. I don't remember at what point where you had, I know two times it stood out to me, where you had a Burks, somebody else, and Toney. This was before the McLaurin and Jeudy injury, so I don't think it was one of those guys. But you had 2 of those guys on your roster. There was a definite third. And I remember saying to you, like, wow, you're taking a lot of risk here. But that's, again, if you're willing to, sort of manage through the beginning portion of the season. I don't know if there's any leagues that were playing out, but beginning portions of the season and get to the middle to the end, it could be really good.
Yeah, well, look, there's no buys until week 4, right? So if these guys, especially if you're in a 2-receiver league, and Treylon Burks is practicing now, so he might actually play in week
1. Well, this was when Burks was still hurt.
Yeah, like you don't need these guys to be ready for week 1. Treylon Burks, Kadarius Toney. So Kadarius Toney will be ready for week 1, but you're not going to start him most likely in week 1. But I hope there's some real leagues, because I think Treylon Burks, after that injury, his ADP just really sunk. We haven't really talked about him.
No, his ADP sunk when Hopkins signed.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But I feel like after the injury, it was just like it was just an understandable reaction. Not only did Hopkins sign, but now he's hurt. But he could be a steal late. He's one of the last guys. I mean, agree or disagree? Treylon Burks is one of the last guys you can get that has serious upside.
Yes, for sure. He's in that range of the guys that you mentioned, but in some cases goes after them. And Heath has alluded to this before. Hopkins is not young, and if he misses any time, we could still see him in the exact same role that we were hoping him to be prior to the trade, or prior to the signing. Excuse me. That he's the number 1 guy in offense. That might surprise us. We do have a new coordinator there. We're expecting Mike Vrabel's system to be Mike Vrabel's team to run the same offense, but it's a new coordinator, so that could change a little bit. Yeah, Burks is great. I actually had one draft. It's kind of funny. I drafted Burks and it was a mistake, but I drafted Burks over Garrett Wilson in a league where you can keep these guys forever. So stupid me last year. Drafted Treylon Burks and did not keep him because you only keep 4 players. And then I got him back in the same keeper round this year. So I'm hoping next year's the year.
Nice. Okay, what else we got here? Sean McVay, or not Sean McVay. I do have that one too. Except, yeah, all right. Detroit offense. Let's do this one first. Detroit offensive coordinator Ben Johnson said they might use Jahmyr Gibbs in some ways that people don't think we might. All right. He's a 3rd round pick. So, and by the way, did my Chiefs Lions research too. The Kansas City Chiefs have been either top 5 or bottom 5. If we want to look at this stat, in most receiving yards per game allowed to running backs.
Yep.
In at least 5 consecutive seasons. Every year they struggle against pass catching running backs. Sean McVay, here it is. He expects rookie wide receiver Puka Nacua to be an immediate contributor. And Jordan Rodriguez of The Athletic thinks that Van Jefferson will be the number 1 wide receiver while Cooper Kupp is out. Heath, where do you draft Van Jefferson and or Puka Nacua?
After round 12 for either. Puka before Van Jefferson has been my default. There's probably a little higher floor with Van, but the floor is so low that you wouldn't want to start either one of them there if they're in that range. So, like if Cooper Kupp's going to miss significant time, then you just avoid the Rams.
Okay. Well, I mean, you don't think there's any appeal to having the number one receiver for Matthew Stafford, whoever it might be, and get you 10?
I do, as long as that person is Cooper Kupp.
Okay. Deon Jackson is expected to start week 1 for the Colts. Zach Moss could be back soon, but he's not likely to be back for week 1, maybe week 2 for Zach Moss. Daniel Popper of The Athletic thinks that Josh Palmer will be the Chargers' number 3 wide receiver to start the season, which we've talked about. But he also thinks that Josh Kelly will be the number 2 running back to start the season. And we really never talk about a handcuff for Austin Eckler. Do you think if Eckler were to miss time, there would be a Chargers running back that would be a must start, or even a number 2 running back? I mean, I'll probably start
Kelly.
Yeah, I'd rather start Kelly over like Deon Jackson if Eckler was out.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I have Kelly ranked in the like Tajay Spears range, like in the 50s.
Dallas signed their right tackle Terrence Steele to a 5-year, $86.8 million deal. They are at the Giants on Sunday night. Saints wide receiver Traquan Smith is out for week 1, and Rashid Shaheed is still nursing a groin injury, and they get Tennessee in week 1. And Seattle safety Jamal Adams is out for week 1. Cornerback Devin Witherspoon seems unlikely to play as well. And the Seahawks said it. They stunk against tight ends. Terrible last year. No Cooper Kupp most likely in week 1. Where do you think you'll rank Tyler Higbee for week 1?
10 to 12.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10 to 15. See,
Thinking Jake Ferguson against the Giants or Higbee against the Seahawks?
Higbee for me.
Higbee, but they'll be very close.